Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for August 29th through September 2nd, 2022. Well, we just had this very powerful new moon in Virgo, speaking to a new chapter and a new start. But with all of our major planets now in retrograde and Mercury entering retrograde shadow, it's a great pause. We have had massive energetic upgrades with this Uranus North Node conjunction opposite the South Node, and also Mars crossing over that conjunction at the first week of August. So the last couple of months have been super activated and with major energetic upgrades. So the message right now is it's a new start. It's an opportunity for us to pause, to recapitulate, because what we're finding is that there's radical changes required for this level of shift. So for supernova souls, it's very individual. What level and area of your life do these changes, how does that mean? What does that mean for you? That's up for us to figure out individually. But the message is that this level of shift is going to require some radical changes. That's the energy of Uranus. And what we're feeling right now is we had that massive activation of Uranus in the North Node, activating a new timeline, a new direction. In Taurus, it's about higher frequency vibrations and embodying these vibrations. So now what we've been feeling for the last few days is Venus in a square with Uranus and now coming into an opposition with Saturn. So Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and it has the energy of lightning fast change, radical shifts, higher vibrational frequency, connection to our future self, our highest self, but also our past wisdom. So it's an awakening, especially in our higher intellectual capabilities and the wisdom and knowledge that lies within us. So huge for supernova souls. Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, it's speaking about how are we going to move into the Aquarian age. So very powerful astrology here. Because for that Virgo new moon, Venus came into a square with Uranus, Venus in Leo. Now Venus is coming into an opposition with Saturn. And this is triggering this epically dynamic Saturn square Uranus transit we've been feeling for the last year or so. We're coming up on another exact square of these planets together. And this happens in the first couple of weeks of October, but we're already feeling it. And Venus has just triggered this into energetic resonance. Now, so Venus in Leo is about an empowered feminine, about expressing those more hidden, deeper, internal parts of ourselves. Now, all of this is happening with a backdrop of Black Moon Lilith in Cancer in square to Chiron and Aries. Now, Black Moon Lilith is our deepest, darkest secrets or hidden shame. And in Cancer, we're talking about our relationship to source, nurturing, love, feeling cared for and held. So what's going on is that there's a huge bloom, especially for supernova souls, of anywhere in your psyche, any recesses where you hold the vibration, the energy of this illusion of separation. Supernova souls, because of the persecution you may have experienced in past lives, it's led to a situation where you have taken your precious internal gifts, which often are associated with the feminine, of intuition and healing, and those have been hidden within us. And in order to release and uncover all parts of ourselves and become whole, we have to go to these deep, dark places. And these are places that we've been running from. It's like this is the feeling that's so suppressed and compressed, that's like so compensated down in your psyche that. And then anytime you get anywhere near this, in the world we live in right now, programming and the situation of our life and the people around us, typically we'll find a way to distract ourselves from these deep, dark recesses. And this astrology is saying, if we're really going to make a leap in this new timeline, if we're really going to be supernova souls who are here to demonstrate the potential of humanity, then we've got to clean this up. How can we express and be that living, breathing demonstration of what's possible if we can't receive and feel worthy of our own abundance? So this is this backdrop because Chiron in Aries, Chiron is our deepest wounds. In Aries, it's about where we gave up our freedom and our life force and our power. So triggering a very powerful energy that we find in the Cancer Capricorn axis. And Aries relates to this as well as Libra, these cardinal signs. Now, Cancer is about nurturing and feeling connected and feeling at home and feeling safe on the earth. Capricorn is about authority and structures of organization. And with Pluto in Capricorn during this era that we live, it's about breaking down and transforming the structures of authority. So this Cancer square Aries and Black Moon Lilith, deepest, darkest secrets in square. This is tension, 90 degrees, forcing change. With Black Moon Lilith and Chiron in Aries. So our deepest wounds over where we gave our power away, and how and why did we? We were persecuted, perhaps. We were forced to, in order to get our needs met and be accepted by the community, we had to concede our power. We had to do it their way. Aries wants to do it their own way and be free and be full, live fully. And this is something that's just, this is the quintessential issue of our times, especially for supernova souls, where we've conceded our power away in order to be comfortable and be accepted and be a part of the tribe and have what we need. So there's this, it makes sense, this deep wound of loneliness, of exile, of like, if you're going to be true to who you are, supernova soul, in this earth evolution, that means you are completely off all alone. And is that why supernova souls continue to live in exile, in spiritual exile? It's up to us to be brave enough to stand and face these darkest recesses of our psyche so that we can be whole again and receive and move forward. And we've gotten this huge message about Jupiter in Aries. Now, this is why this issue is so on the foreground, because Jupiter in Aries is saying, hey, you thought you were alive, right? But you're not really living. We don't even know what it looks like to really live. We have glimpses and momentary experiences. But we're here to thrive and demonstrate this potential. So, very powerful examination of anywhere in our psyche that's keeping us from claiming that autonomy and that freedom that has to do with deep recesses and hidden secrets and shame in our psyche around feeling loved and accepted as who we are. This is the human condition as well. You know, we've been programmed and told that we are just useless feeders and that we have no role or meaning or purpose. And this exactly fits the exile feeling of that happens, this esoteric emptiness that you'll find in the journey. And there's a powerful picture, a message that's come through around this. And maybe this can be really helpful as we're finding the strength to go to these deepest, darkest places within us. Supernova souls, we are fighting. We're here to be that demonstration. That means we have to go first. And the people who go first have to figure out how to do it on their own. And so there's as much as this is a very intense time of going into the depths of our psyche, there's also huge opportunities for revelation, understanding, a shift of perspective, and understanding that it is this difficult journey that you've been on that has fully prepared you for this moment and this time. Really, the Uranus and Taurus is awakening our deeper inner treasures. And so this transit coming on the heels of this massive activation of Uranus, North Node, Mars, a new timeline is trying to land higher vibrational frequencies. We're just being inundated with these energies. And that means we've got to uncover, it's cracking open our shell, it's cracking open that deep hidden, that rock that we've been hiding under. And maybe that's a good energy because as we move into the next few months, we're going to be looking at a deeper and more prominent, it's like we're being prepared for this deeper exposure. We're personally exposing and going to these places in our psyche, and collectively in our consciousness, the next few months are all about exposure of these deepest, darkest places. And understanding that these of all the stories that are coming up, because what we're feeling right now is that, and for this Virgo new moon, the sun and the moon came into a square with Mars, and Mars and the sun are still in exact square today. And we'll be feeling this over the next few days. The sun is our identity, who we think we are. And in Virgo, we're looking at cleaning up an ego death. We're looking at sorting through who are we really and who are we not, and what roles have we been playing for the people around us throughout lifetimes that doesn't fit who we are. So this is an energy of a massive ego death. With Mars, the square with Mars is in Gemini. Mars is our warrior. Gemini, it's about expression and speaking your truth. So we're having an ego death experience of whatever is in the way of our bigger expression, especially as leaders, because Gemini is a leadership sign. So there's this pressure to be the warrior we are, to come forward and express that bigger self of what's inside of us. And incredible pressure around this. The Virgo new moon says, yeah, it's about cleaning up the shame and the programming that have kept us under that rock. And that has to do with past life personality constructs. And this is our ego death. Wherever we've been attached to some certain role or idea of what it is we're here to do. And of course, this has been so frustrating for supernova souls to have this feeling clarity over the last decade of trying to move forward in a certain way and then nothing working out. This is because the energies are shifting so rapidly and that we're adjusting timelines. And that's kind of the big message of right now, because since Uranus turned retrograde last week, all of our larger planets are in retrograde. And now Mercury has just gone into retrograde shadow. Mercury just moved into the sign of Libra. Mercury will be taking a retrograde in Libra. So Mercury is officially in retrograde shadow, and that makes the next couple of months a rethinking, especially since Mercury will move into Libra, back into Virgo, and back into Libra. And so Mercury is a ruler of Virgo, and Mercury in Virgo is our analytical mind, our ability to make sense of the world. And Libra is an air sign. So we're this is a very important Mercury retrograde. And with all the big planets retrograde, it's just going to feel like a big pause. And if we can see it like that, instead of being stuck, that will be super helpful, because Venus in Leo triggering that Saturn square Uranus and the fixed signs, the fixed squares have an energy of feeling stuck in old patterns. It also shows us the patterns that are keeping us from establishing a new energy, a new vibration. So this mutable cardinal Mercury retrograde is a huge opportunity to pause, to rest, to recapitulate, to say, whoa, massive energetic upgrades showing me how far away my everyday life is from the bigger truth of who I am. And how do we bridge this gap? And that requires massive change for most people. It could be changes on an invisible levels, but inevitably these are going to translate into our everyday life. So Virgo is very practical and down to earth. And so Mercury going retrograding back into Virgo is saying, let's rethink this. Let's ground out. We've got to change our life to make room for this bigger, more true self. Now that that part of ourselves feels a little safer to land after this excursion into the darkest depths of our psyche with Black Moon Lilith square Chiron. So this Mercury retrograde is telling us a lot about what we're dealing with here. We know we're rearranging, recapitulating, we're making big changes in our everyday life, we're getting organized, we're detoxing, we're cleaning house. Now Mercury moved into retrograde shadow on the 21st and then just moved into Libra a couple of days ago, and now officially moving into that energy. Mercury in Libra, Mercury during this retrograde, Mercury at the end degrees of Virgo is going to be making 3 trines with Pluto in Capricorn, coming into a trine 3 times. Mercury retrograde in Libra will make 3 oppositions with Jupiter in Aries. So we're talking about this quintessential issue around our permission for our own life force, for our own power, and how can we stand in that power and still be supported in it, right? The changes that we're making and need to make is how to open up to the universe and life's support for this massive leap of timelines and the support for us in our bigger self, what we're trying to bring forward, and not so much what we're here to do, but who we're here to be. So let's talk this through, because Mercury had a first trine with Pluto on the 23rd of August. And then after it turns retrograde, it will have the 2 trines with Pluto, and those will be at the end of September and the first week of October. So super dynamic. And this Mercury retrograde has everything we need to understand in order to be ready for that very powerful time. Now, because when Mercury does turn direct, October 2nd, and then Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow on October 17th. So that period of time is exactly when the Saturn square Uranus, speaking of the dramatic changes that are required for this new reality. So once Mercury turns direct on October 2nd, it's going to start a snowball effect. It's going to take a minute, especially with that Saturn square Uranus, because it's like we're stuck in time. But then as that momentum comes back, it makes October incredibly dynamic with radical change as we come out. So that Saturn square Uranus, we're going to feel all the way through November. But as it comes off of that square and Mercury comes out of shadow, we're going to start seeing some massive revelations in our world. In the second part of October and November, incredibly busy time, energy's moving, big shifts, big changes, dramatic events. And we want to be ready, because this is all preparation for that December 21st timeline alignment, activation, landing home of this Christ consciousness timeline, when Jupiter on December 21st moves over into Aries for the 3rd time. And then as Jupiter in the spring moves out of retrograde shadow, that's when we're really going to be able to take action and launch in new directions. So it's so incredibly important that we see this great pause as a great pause and a perfect opportunity rather than feeling stuck, you know? And kind of it be like, I accept these upgrades. I receive this energy. I want to embody it. And then, okay, show me what I need to change in my life and my world. Because that flash of lightning, or that Uranus North Node, and then this Sun square Mars, this ego death, right? And it's like, whoa, I can see I'm like going to be real and true with this potential inside of me. My everyday life, the way I've been living it, so far away. And so the bridge to those places is the support we need. We've had to do it all alone every time. And this time we have to open our heart, open our love, heal our wounds, and come back into receiving the support from the universe that can help us blossom into the bigger truth of who we are. And everything is about this. What needs to shift and change to make room for your bigger self? It's like you're literally landing home. You're birthing, you're rebirthing. You got to get your birth kit. You got to get your house in order. You've got to let go of everything in the past so that you can begin to build in the future. And that is exactly this whole next 3 months of astrology. Saturn Uranus square, Mercury retrograde, and recapitulating and reorganizing and rearranging every aspect of our lives so that we can really run with the energies as they shift and change. So with this Cancer energy, Black Moon Lilith, it's easy to get into victimhood. It's easy, especially with the Saturn transits and Venus opposite Saturn. Now, we'll be feeling this through the end of the month. Venus opposite Saturn. And there's this energy. Saturn always brings like an energy of obstacles, something working against you. So it's like, what's working against the feminine shining, which is our bigger self, has to do with our feminine power, male or female body, our intuitive skills. This is what we're landing. And so this empowerment of our intuitive self, this empowerment of the divine feminine, this saving the queen who's been captured and bringing her back to life in our psyche, in our love, maybe it's like this Virgo energy and Mercury retrograde can help us build that garden of everything that can support this powerful transition we're into landing home as who we really are. So take full advantage of this great pause. We're going to feel it more and more. Right now, it's kind of like, whoa, what are we doing? Where are we going? But at the same time, with all this earth energy, it's a great opportunity to ground out. We've got the sun in Virgo, and Mercury will retrograde back into Virgo. Venus is going to move over into Virgo. And we've got Uranus North Node in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn. So all of the earth signs, and especially that Mercury trine Pluto, giving us a powerful opportunity to ground out and reorganize and reorient. And so if you can see it like that, you can put your nose to the grindstone and get your shit together in a practical way, knowing that you're not stuck. You can't go forward in between timelines. And that's definitely where we are. We're in these days in between. And like I said, we're going to feel this all the way, it's a whole month until Mercury turns direct on October 2nd. But then the square, Saturn-Uranus square. And as that loosens up and Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow, this new timeline, this new world, this new reality, these new possibilities are revealed. So this is our time to trust in these. Explore the deeper issues and woundedness and shadows that keep us from receiving this bigger self, and allow our whole life to rearrange and adjust. So go ahead and step back. There's definitely an energy of like, watch your energy, where you're putting your energy. Don't get distracted. Don't get into battle. It's not a time to push forward any agenda on any level. This may be our ego death. It's like all throughout the whole Earth evolution, there's been all these agendas playing out. Supernova souls are here to come to bring the timelines and reality back into the one true agenda, which is the divine plan, this beautiful vision of what Earth wants to become. So we're very powerful message here in this Mercury retrograde and frustrating times of squares and oppositions, of like this, allowing this ego death to happen and knowing that our little self and that old self does not know the way forward. And it's okay not to know. But still you can prepare. And so very powerful times. And then Mercury will also make 3 oppositions with Jupiter. And Jupiter is this fight for truly living, for life and life force and living and a real experience here. And so Mercury opposite that in Libra is challenging our freedom versus our relationships. And this is part of the thing that needs to get worked out for all supernova souls. Supernova souls have often found again and again finding themselves in control-based relationships because this is all you've known for lifetimes. And you think it's love. And now we need to know that true love is free. And it's outside of agenda, of personal gain. These times are so intense because we've all got to get on the same page of this vision. And that happens in that December 21st moment. And supernova, are you going to be prepared and ready to completely let go and step into new possibilities? Right? So use this time wisely. Take great care of yourself. A great time during these deep internal changes and process to really love yourself through it. Forgive yourself. Remember that we came here to learn and grow. And we came here to lose ourselves. We came here as advanced beings to agree to forget who we are. And now we're in the process of remembering. And part of that remembering is healing and releasing the deep and profound grief of all we've been through. Using those stories to set us free from all story and all agenda. So we can vibrate at this higher, beautiful, white lightning vibration. So powerful time, and just let yourself be in this great pause. Let yourself adjust, let yourself heal, love yourself. Be brave to go to those places of darkness, knowing that you're making room for the bigger light of the truth of who you are. It's glorious. And you're not even going to believe what this world looks like as supernova souls turn on. And here we are doing it together. So know that this astrology is, as we go into these deepest, darkest places, we're going into those places of exile and the feeling like the island. And in that place is this belief system that there's no way this earth can support spiritual evolution, especially yours. You came in to demonstrate and support spiritual evolution. So we have to change this thinking, and we have to change this dynamic, and somehow allow a new possibility, a new vibration of this world is perfectly supporting us and exactly what we need to do. And make our way back to the garden, and that's where we're going to find each other. So thank you so much for being with me and going through all you've gone through, supernova souls. And if you didn't catch that Virgo new moon activation, very powerful opportunity to come into a very the powerful ally medicine from a past life that's available to you today. And remember, using that to remember who you are as a planetary healer underneath all this blocking, shame, and programming that we're sorting through. So it came through as a very powerful opportunity for a turning point for supernova souls to embrace and receive your medicine and allow yourself to be healed by that same medicine through these journey into the darkest spaces in order to bring the light back in. So thank you so much, Supernova Souls. I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.